I'm Michelle Graves, your host on today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm glad to have you here. Now, at The Power of Money, we are interested in three things happening. First, we want you to get the necessary education so that you and your family can make the decisions that will impact positively on you in your financial life. The second thing is that you be empowered to prosper. I only want the best for you. And you can only get that if you have education and then the drive to make it happen. And the third thing that is so important to me is that you recognize that life is more than a journey and that you be energized so that you can begin to participate in the truly joyous experience of living. So, here's to empowerment, here's to education, and here's to energy. I'm Michelle Graves, your host, Power of Money, and here we go. And here we go. Welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. And today is part 2 of Single Ladies, the economics of singlehood in America. And my last segment, I talked to you about just an overview. I did a macro or a big picture, and I talked about the fact that there were many more women of all races than men. I didn't tell you why, but it's not hard to figure it out. We have more girl babies than boy babies. Men die sooner of all kinds of things. They don't live necessarily long lives. The other thing with males is very simply, a lot of them are incarcerated. You're dealing with that in African American and Latino communities. So there's less fertile men out here to produce children. And so there we go. We've got this as a real live active right now. In addition to which, women over the age of 50 are in extremely challenged positions right now because of, again, lack of males and lack of money because of the disparity in the wage rates of males versus females, known as equal pay. When we talk about that and what is the impact on you as a single person, that means you are divorced, you are widowed, or you have never been married. There's a whole bunch of people out here today who have never been married at all. They just haven't been. A large number of those never marrieds are females, and their life story is very different. Many of them have children. It's not necessarily to be married to have children, and they do, and they struggle hard because of the lack of income. We also talked about lifestyle issues and health issues and the fact that you have to begin to deal with those things. And finally, your mindset, which is, do you have make a decision, and then do you have the commitment to follow through to change your life? It can be done. I closed out with talking about a lady that I met when I was on a consulting assignment in Wisconsin. And she just shared with me her dreams while we were talking informally. And I shared with her, well, why don't you do something? Okay, why don't you do something? And she said, like what? I said, you told me you're from Mississippi. I mean, Nina Simone talked about Mississippi. You folks can cook. Georgia, Mississippi, we already know. I said, what do you? She said, oh, I do some cakes. I said, what kind of cakes? She said, I do butter cakes. I said, with real butter? She said, yeah, all my ingredients are natural, and I do this from scratch, and my cakes are awesome. And I told her, how much you gonna charge me to make me some of your cakes and send them to me for Christmas? Now, she was faced with a choice right then. It was boom, there it is. There's God, showed up. She said, "You'd actually buy my cakes?" I told her, "If they're as good as you say they are, I will not only buy your cakes, but I will endorse your cakes and I will help you to sell your cakes. How you like that?" So her biggest hurdle was she had to invest some time and research on how she's going to ship her cakes to me so that they would not be destroyed. And I told her, "But that's easy breezy. YouTube. Go to YouTube and see what they say about how to do this." That's what she did. I got my cakes before Christmas. It was a tremendous success. I'm looking forward to being one of her first customers as she moves forward with her cakes. So, she's not going to be broke very much longer because my commitment as the money lady is to make sure all her pricing is correct, all her order taking. She can start small. She can start in her own community. You don't have to go national. You don't have to do, you can start with your own folks, your church people and your garden clubs and all the different bowling clubs. Let them know you make cakes. And believe me, they'll buy them. If they're good, they'll buy them. Black people will buy them. White people will buy them. Asians will buy them. Restaurants will buy them. This is America. And there's tremendous opportunity. I'm glad I was able to help her to make this transition because she was fearful. She was fearful that she would not do well. And I had to help her to change her perspective so that she could recognize that she deserved all that this country had to offer her in the area of success. You don't have to be a millionaire to live well. I mean, think about it. If she sold 100 cakes a week, she would be making more than most people make in America. Woo! Yes, she would. Think about it. So, today's segment, part 2, we're dealing with the economics. Part 1, I gave you an overview, talked about what is the hindrance, shopping, bad habits, all these things that we have control over. Nobody can make you do anything, certainly not me. I have enough dealing with me. I don't need to add you to my plate. So, because of that, I say to you in all sincerity, on this segment today, we're going to talk about the financial aspects of being single, with the most profound aspect being you don't make any money. And what that does when you don't make any money and you're trying to make ends meet. Well, that's where this conversation is going to start. And hopefully we'll have some opportunity to look at options and alternatives. The first thing, if you're not making any money and you're by yourself, you're going to be struggling. If you get a second job, you're going to be tired and struggling because you will have more income, but you will have less of an opportunity to enjoy it. The other thing is that if you're working 2 jobs, which many single women do, 2 low-paying jobs, if you're not banking that second job, putting it away, that's money that doesn't exist, you will find yourself working 2 jobs and having nothing to show for it. Now, that is truly sad. It is. So, my recommendation, don't have to listen to me. I did 2 jobs. I shared with you on the other show. When I started my investment company in the day, I had 3 children, divorcee, no child support, and a dream, and had the credentialing. But who cares about women and credentials? You haven't figured that out yet? Come on, grow up. You get all these degrees and stuff, you still got to get out here and hoof it, okay? You're still not going to get paid the same thing as a male if you're in traditional workplace. You're self-employed, it's different. You carve that out for yourself. But In my case, I did 2 jobs. I cleaned offices at night with my children in pup tents and did it because bills have to be paid while you're fulfilling your dream. You still got to keep it real. I could never have done 2 full-time work jobs. I did one at night, and that job made me enough to pay my mortgage, to pay food, that type of thing. My other company, I would make nice checks, lump sum, and until I could break away, that's what I did. It doesn't matter to me how you do it, but I need you to make up your mind that the economics of the times we're in demand that you do it, because a job was never designed to make you independent and, whoa, wealthy? No, you kidding me. If a job could do that for you, everybody be working a job. It's easier than being self-employed. It really is. Self-employed is very fulfilling because you do have the opportunity to control, if you're disciplined, to control your time and to make lots of money doing it. So I don't have anything against people being self-employed. I think it's absolutely awesome. I do. Now, back to you. First things first, look at how much money you make. Just bottom line, look at how much money you're making. Look at how much money they're taking out per pay period. If you have children, make adjustments, okay? Don't let them take out as much. Oh, I got a big refund. You don't ever want to be in a situation like that, where you're waiting on the IRS to send you back money that's yours. Really? That's not the way it works. You get your money legally and legitimately right up front. And if IRS sent you back nothing, no big deal, because you took it all as you went along. That's smart. Believe me, all these people that are getting ready to wait for their little refunds from a government that's shut down, that's promising you refunds, hold your breath. Hold your breath. Exactly. Maybe this year you'll change your withholding so you can get all your money up front. So that's the first thing. You want to look at, how much money am I actually bringing home? That's after tax. Not, so if you're making $15 an hour, what is your after tax hourly rate? Because it's not 15. Or if you're making more, or if you're making 30, look at what you are making after tax. And then once you know what your income is, then you can look at what you're spending. Now, for many of us, that's when it gets real crazy, because statistics say that a large portion of your income after tax is going to debt servicing. What is debt servicing? It's a banker's term. You know, I'm a banker. It's a banker's term that means how much of your money are you spending to pay off bills, permanent bills like credit cards and cars and mortgages and furniture and stuff. The rule of thumb is no more than 10%. So if you're bringing home after tax $1,000, then the most you should be spending on debt servicing is $100. That's for all that. How many people are doing it? Nobody. Most people don't have any money after they're paid. They're out here. They don't have anything. But I'm getting ready to show you how you can turn that around. It's not going to be that difficult, but you do have to make up your mind that bad habits have to go in a box and they have to go. Why? Because it's working against you. And we're all about self-love in 2019. We're not talking about reality TV and pouncing on people and showing your body parts. We're talking about you genuinely loving yourself so that you can begin to have a future for yourself that is joyful and without a lot of stress related to debt and friends and family. And oh, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Because the older you get, the more in touch you are with the reality of your mortality. Yeah. Statistics say the older you are, the closer you are to going in a box. But as I tell statisticians, the older you are, it's not the box that's going to get you. It's the body conversation. You walking around dead. You walking around saturated. You can't figure out how you're going to make it. And trying to fake this thing like it's some kind of a war game. It is a war, but it's not a game. Oh, I bet you that. If it is a game, then we need to learn the rules, wouldn't you say? If you're going to play this game, you kind of need to know the rules. Okay, it's like Monopoly, okay? You better know the rules, and you do throw the dice a lot, but you can't throw the dice with your life like that. And the nice thing about Monopoly, at the end of the game, the board closes, all the pieces go back in, and it's done. Okay, cannot repeat it, that's over. So we want to look at, okay, I'm not making enough money. I got all these expenses. What do I need to do? And as I tell folks, you need to go into survival mode. I'm so serious. Now, if you were from another culture and this happened, your family would bail you out and then you'd have to pay them. There'd be a different obligation going on to help you get through. Families in other cultures help businesses. They do all kinds of stuff because family is very important. Over here, it's loosey-goosey because family doesn't have money, family doesn't have history, and family doesn't think you're going to pay them back. And they're probably right, because at the point we don't pay ourselves, how can we be expected to pay family members who bail you out of your difficulty? I'm getting ready to get my car repossessed. I'm getting ready to get my car taken. What am I going to do? And I'm like, Mom, can you loan me? They want all of it. How much is that? $10,000. Oh, $10,000? Yeah, that's what I owe. I'm not going to have a car. Well, I don't have $10,000 to loan you, child. Is that what parents and women do, especially single women? Oh, I give you what I got. Oh, no, that's not the... Stop. Time out. Time out. Don't you dare. You're going to give them a solution to a problem they created and not give them the opportunity to experience the pain of the decision when it's bad? What? Tell them to take an Uber every day. Tell them to take a bus every day. They'll learn how to do things differently. Now you can say, oh, but money, lady. I tell you, go into the bathroom and stay there till you feel better. But do not bail your children out of their life experiences. That's not the way it works. We all have to go through this thing called life. Some good, some bad. Everybody, rich, poor, black, white, male, female, everybody got to go through life. You do not, as a single woman, have the freedom to bail your children out of their life experiences. How dare you? And think that you're not going to ultimately pay the price. Because here's what happens, I'm telling you. You bail them out. They get their little dumpy car back. You need them to take you to the grocery store. Guess what? Mom, I've got other things to do. Wait a minute. Did I not? No. Or, worse, you need the money. because you've got things that you didn't anticipate. And now you don't have anything. And do you think you can call them to bail you out? No. No, you can't. Why? Because they came to you asking for money. So they don't have any money. So why do that? That's tough. As women, we tend to be more emotional. You don't think your children know that? Okay, whether you're divorced or whatever. They're not going to their dads with that. Oh, no, the Tyrannosaurus Rex is not Jurassic Park. Tyrannosaurus Rex is a male, okay, with lots of teeth. And no, he will eat his children. Oh my God. I'm just trying to keep it real, okay? Now, with single women, that is always a problem. That's why I brought to the table right up front. You know, if you're going to be frustrated and angry at me, do it now. Get it over with. Just exhale. Oh, I can't stand her, what she just said to me about my children. And I'm like, because I'm looking on down the road, and I need you to be alive and participating in life rather than impoverished and wondering where your money went. Your money went to paying off debts for extravagances, taking care of your children because they ain't got it together and you don't want them to get it together, or else you let them get it together, whatever it looked like, okay? And what does it cost you? Everything. Everything. Oh, but they love me. Prove it. Prove it. Anybody paid your gas and electric bill lately? You know, gas and electric company take money from anybody. Like, if you want to pay the bill, they can pay the bill. Has anybody offered to pay any of your bills? Anybody come to the rescue? Even when we do family dinners, and this is an absurdity. You're a single woman. You know to do Thanksgiving, it's going to run you about 150, 200. Turkey dressing time, 200. Has anybody offered to give you some money to help buy food? Now, if you say always, then good for you, but that's not typically how it works. You cook all the food, they come, and then they want you to fix plates to take with them. Okay? And you, oh, sure, fix a big plate. Really? At the restaurant, if they did that, it would cost them. And they'd have to pay it because that's just how that works. So when I say all this to you, I'm not saying it to be harsh. I'm just playing it real. Okay, can I play it real with you? Because I need you to look at your mindset and attitudes that have fostered this kind of behavior that has ultimately reared up and bit you. So, we know that children are a no-no. Let them find their way. If you believe in the power of God and the power of prayer, then stop talking it and do it. Pray for your children. Really pray for them, that their eyes of understanding might be open and that they grow up. Okay? Because some of us are in messy situations. It's complicated. I'm not a therapist. I don't know what to tell you other than don't do that. Don't tangle your money with your children. You're trying to come up out of this, okay? And they'll have to work it out. And if you do this, you better put it in writing. Not that you'll ever get a dime back, but I tell you what, at the point they see it in writing, they know not to come back to you. They won't come back a second time because they haven't settled with you right the first time. They know that. You know that. So at least protect yourself. So you're looking again at your expenses. Where is my money going? And I'm telling you, most of it's going into debt servicing, paying off credit cards, paying off cars, paying off everything. And at the end of the day, you have nothing, or you're in the red. So you scuttle around and you figure out, what am I going to do? Because I don't have enough money. Oh, I get another job. Well, that's not an answer unless getting a second job is all money that you're banking for your retirement. Okay? Or Alternatively, you're using that money solely and exclusively to get out of debt. That's the only reason you get a second job. I'm coming out of this. I made up my mind. I followed your advice, money lady. I gotten rid of all my little shopaholic girlfriends. And I'm not doing online. And I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I matter. I count. I got it. I get it. I hear you. And so with that perspective in mind, we go forward. We go forward. So you get a second job, all the money you make, you bank, pay off bills. Starting to feel good about a year into this, because it's not going to be easy, but it will happen. You also look at what your skill sets are. What do you need to do different? Do you need to go back to school and upgrade your skills if you're going to stay in the workplace? Do you need to start your own business? What are your skills? What do you do? What stands out that God's already given you that's in you, in your DNA, that you do? And then you're looking at what that needs to look like. You're using your time judiciously and not wastefully. And when I say wastefully, you can get more money, but you're not going to get more time. And when you have wasted your time on activities that do not add 1 cent to your balance sheet, you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, young or old. Well, girl, I'm going out tonight. I'm going to see this singer, this, that. I'm like, really? You're going to go and see a singer? You're going to spend 3 hours of your time to listen to somebody who's getting paid? Oh, you there to pay them, okay? That's why they're on stage. You've paid for that. And at the end of the show, oh, it was a great show. You don't even remember what they sang. Oh, it was great. Oh, everybody's having a great time. Really? What if I told you that 90% of those people in there didn't need to be there because they didn't have any money? But they were there because that's what you do. Same thing with slot machines. If you're a gambling addict, get help. Otherwise, you don't have no business in there because you are never going to beat the house. Why would you think you're going to beat a casino? Girl, I hit the lottery. No, the lottery hit you. The goal is to get you to spend your money and that it do a one way, that way, and that you come out feeling, well, next time. I'll do better next time. Or if you're an addict, the next time is let me sell something, let me hustle something, let me pawn something. Messed up. But you don't need to be going to concerts. You don't need to be doing casinos. All this because you got to get up out of this. You got to get up out of this. So you're looking at what do I need to do and how do I need to do it. And while I'm talking, the other thing you're going to have to do is got to deal with life insurance. Now, if you work for a company, you can usually get group term. It's not yours, it's the company's, but the rates are cheap. Something, you can get $100,000 cheap. Why do you need life insurance? Do you really think your family's going to be up to GoFundMe for you? Really? Let me tell you, oh my gosh. I was in a situation where I overheard a woman and her cousin having a nasty conversation because somebody had died in the family and nobody wanted to claim the body. Why didn't they want to claim the body? Because they feared that they were going to get stuck with the tab. And the woman was like, I don't know why you talking to me like I got money. This is like $7,000. I don't have $7,000. And the other one was like, I don't have $7,000 either. And they both said, well, why didn't she get life insurance? I'm like, wrong question. Oh my God. Wrong question. Even if you got $10,000, it's better than nothing. But if you're working, definitely take advantage of life insurance. Many times employers will pay a base, usually $50,000. Then you can buy more, or you don't have to buy any, but you should do something. Okay? You can put your kids on. You can do this. You can do this during the open enrollment that employers all have. Okay? And it's a great time to look at what you can get uh, on your employer's tab. This is a start. This is a start. But that's still cash. You still got to pay. Got to pay. Payroll deduction, but you still got to pay. But that's not an option, that's a must. Then you say, but God, the medical insurance, I can't afford it. Well, then don't get any and pray that you don't get sick. Because if you have no insurance and you get sick, and a whole lot of people do, I can't advise you. So those are items that will come out of your paycheck that are foundational. Your insurance, your disability, which is also an employer-offered benefit in most companies. You can take advantage of it to your benefit, okay? There are other benefits as well, depending on your cash flow, but those are mandatory, which is if I'm disabled, my family suffers. If I die, ball game. Speaking of which, if you have children under 18, don't even talk to me unless you have a will that includes guardianship. Because I'm going to tell you again, and I'm going to tell you again, and I'm going to tell you till you're blue in the face. If you die without a will and no provisions for your children in the form of a guardianship, then they become wards of the court. And the court will work it out, whether it works for you or not. And no, just don't assume people are going to take care of your children, because they're not. That's too much to ask. It really is. It's just too much to ask. Don't talk love. Please, handle your business. So, we're back to what next? So you're still looking at your budget and you're saying, I don't have enough money. Yes, you do. You're not thinking creatively. You do have enough money. You'll have to do things a little different. It's going to be tight. It's going to be real tight for a minute. It's going to be tight. What can you do quickly? Well, for those who don't mind children and have a home, you can take care of children in the evening while their parents work, and you can get paid. All right? And you say, God, but that interrupts my sleep. Do bill collectors interrupt your sleep? Try that one. You can take care of seniors. Okay? You really can. A lot of people want respite care. They want a break. Be available. Well, I got children. Again, stop telling me no. Stop going through a no iteration and begin to look at what can you do differently. If you are in retirement right now and you don't have enough money, then senior care is not even an option. That's a must. You can watch seniors at night or other times and keep an eye on them. It's not hard work. A lot of people have Alzheimer's today. The family wants to keep them at home. They need somebody there to keep an eye on them. Look at those options. You have to be willing to make the first step to change your income situation. Now, for those of you single ladies, widowed, divorced, never married, and you find yourself unemployed, because the truth of the matter is that companies don't want older women in the workplace. I hate to say that because that sounds so cold, but they don't. They feel they create problems in terms of the cultural dynamic, because you got all these Generation Xers, you got all these millennials, you got all these, AC/DCs. Everybody's doing everything. And actually, we're out of touch. It's okay to say, I don't understand any of this, because technology has accelerated this whole thing to such a point where we don't know what the heck is going on. And we find ourselves powerless to change. And employers really want you out so they can bring somebody young in. I'm speaking to women. With men, it's different. It's not as brutal. Okay? But women, they're going to be trying to move you out so they can move some young people in. So how do you get through this? Well, first thing is, if they're trying to move you out, don't fight the feeling. Go to HR and find out what you have. Find out. Ask the source. Tell them, I have a distinct feeling that I'm being moved out, and it's okay. I just need to know what I have. I need to know vacation. I need to know this, blah, blah, blah. And let them work it out with you so you'll know factually what you have. Now, is it a good time to get another job? Well, of course, you can get other jobs. You can get, particularly if Social Security hasn't kicked in, you're going to have to get other jobs. And that's okay. Just be aware that you're being viewed not in a positive in the workplace, but as a negative, a liability. You may have health issues. You may be going through the change of life and be batty around young people. And they may perceive you as their mother and not their coworker. And it's different. I'm telling you, it's so different out here today. But in your particular case, by all means, step it up, get a job. Get a job. Stop moping. Stop shopping and spending money you don't have. Period. And just say, well, you know what? If I plan on fulfilling my dream of laying on the beach in Florida, I got to do some things a little different. And I got to hunker down. And you know what? You'll make new friends. You'll find another church. You'll be able to do things differently because you will not be looking at poverty. Okay? So, again, that's my first challenge. Now, for those of you who have enough money put aside, single ladies, where you have an investment account. Oh, I'm getting ready to make a whole lot of advisors mad. Don't call me, because you know you're wrong. Why do investment advisors treat older women like they are leftover, used dog bones? Why do they do that? Why do they blah you off when you ask about your portfolio performance? Why do they dismiss you when you ask them about alternatives? Case in point, I was just with an associate of mine. I'm not her advisor. I do strictly consulting now. You cannot call me for any of that. I'm paid as a seasoned professional to do consulting. But she wanted my advice on the market. She said, I just lost almost 10% of my value. I told her and everybody else. And she said, but that's not the way it works. I said, well, how do you think it works? Well, he's supposed to make me money. Okay. So what in your portfolio suggests that you are going to make money when you just told me you're losing money? Well, he's just supposed to make me money. I said, well, there seems to be a miscommunication here, and I can't help you because I'm not your advisor, nor am I going to step in his role because that's what you pay him to do. Ladies, why do you pay people to mess you up? I told her 2 strategies that she should ask him about. And I said, and I'm not going to tell you nothing else. Not because I don't love you, but because what are you paying him for? And this is something that got me to thinking. Why do you pay people money to jam you up? And why do they feel comfortable doing it? I have another scenario. This is real life. I was not her advisor. I was her friend, beloved friend. And some things were odd about her portfolio. Very odd. And we were in the middle of setting up some trusts to help her situation. And she wanted to pull together all her advisors. She was a very wealthy woman. If I gave her name, you'd know who I was talking about. We sat in a big, prominent law firm's conference room, her, me, and her team of advisors, bankers, investment advisor, portfolio. And you know what they said to her? Let me tell you what they said to her. Who is she and why is she in here? I didn't open up my mouth. And I tapped her foot like, don't answer that question. And she didn't say nothing, and I didn't say nothing. So one of the men said, well, I think we have a right to know who she is. And my response to them finally was, you need to sit down and you need to close your mouth while you have a mouth to close. Because she has the right to terminate with you right now. Got it? Did he not sit down? And didn't they all, the whole energy in the room changed from one of, we're going to bully you two women, to we may be without a job fooling with these two women. That's exactly what I wanted them to feel. That's exactly how I wanted it to play. How dare you question me when you're making money off my stuff? You understand what I'm saying, viewers? Women, don't do business with people that cannot respect you. And if they won't talk to you with dignity, fire them. You don't have to say I feel bad. No, you don't feel bad. You don't feel bad for firing anybody that's not respectful of you and your money and your time. You don't feel bad. And do not be happy when they tell you, oh, it'll get better. Sometimes it doesn't. And if you don't have an open communication with that individual, that's going to cost you a lot of money. In this particular person's case, I just talked to her about two options to discuss with her advisor, and then told her, if you have the strength of character as a single woman, if he hasn't been doing you right, you need to fire him. Okay? This is not a marriage. In a marriage, if he's not doing you right, you can divorce him. In the financial services industry, if he or she, God forbid a woman would be behaving like that, that's reprehensible. But if he's not doing right, get rid of him. Tell him you get no vacations this year on me. No private school bills paid on me. No anything on me. Have a nice day. And move on. Move on. Move on. Don't meditate about it. You're learning to take care of you. That's not bad. Learn to take care of you. Yeah, I just said it. Learn to take care of you. That's hard when we've been, as a culture, trained as women that somebody's going to take care of us. Cinderella is a fairy tale. Okay? There's nobody showing up on the scene to feed you. Okay? This is the truth. If he shows up, I don't know. He can. But will you want him? Okay? Because that's a whole conversation. There are men around, but do you want them? They're crazy, mentally ill, still living with their mothers, cannot save any money, on drugs, drink, smoke, pot, too much adultery and sexual impropriety. Oh, yeah, the stuff today will kill you. Yeah. So they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay? So, there we are. And then I asked males, why do you think women today, modern women, are doing other things? Okay? If the issue is intimacy, they cultivate other relationships, many times same sex. You say, what? Yeah, it's real big. What do you want? It's like in China. They killed all the baby girls. I lived over there. I don't have to play games. They killed all the baby girls. What do you think those men were going to do when they got grown? Really? Some of them were going to become women. Really? They were going to turn some military guys out. Not funny. They're no longer killing baby girls. Why you got to figure this out? People are going to do what they have to do. Okay? Sexuality is a strong drive. Wars have been fought over a man blinking at a woman funny. Okay? I'm just saying to you, it's a touchy thing. It's complicated, it's messy, but it's real. So, getting back to on point about financial advisors and all that stuff. Get rid of them if they're not servicing you in the area of money. Okay? Another thing I recommend to women, I don't like women having a bunch of bloodsuckers at the table. And when I say that, it could be your toxic girlfriends that you can't get rid of. And I'm telling you, I got some awesome girlfriends, but they okay on their own. They don't need me to keep their world. They are all self-sustained all over the United States. Some married, some not married, all of them really okay. Why? Because they're doing what works for them. Okay? That's the key thing. Doing what works for them, which is the key to successful singlehood. Learning what works for you and eliminating everything else, including the fear of aging. How many women today are struggling with what happens in front of the mirror? And I'm being candid, as I said on the other show. My age is no secret. Why I look like this? Because I am a shea butter addict. I manufacture, that's one of my companies. And I do it free for me because I know what it'll do in terms of preservation of skin from radiation damage. We get the sun blowing on us 24/7. So I will ultimately get older, but I don't have to have wrinkled skin as a result of it. Those two don't go together. If you take care of your body, you take care of your skin, you live a healthy lifestyle, you drink tons and tons of fresh alkaline water, eat fresh fruit, vegetables, stay away from red anything, cows. Why you want to eat a cow? Huh? And why do you want to eat a pig? Why? And you say, well, I that's what I grew up with. Make a change. Make a change. You also grew up with people that ate vegetables. If you grew up in the country, I grew up with greens and stuff. I grow them. I eat them. I love them. Okay? And I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. Sugar, 0. Salt, 0. Or if you do, Himalayan salt and in moderation only. But white cane sugar? Well, how am I going to make a cake? Well, I can't answer your question. I will tell you there are alternatives, and maybe you need to look at those and handle that accordingly. Take care of yourself, love you. Singlehood requiring. Aging you cannot reverse, but how you age is very important. And what I see women in their 50s and 60s, particularly white women, going crazy, Botox and creepy legs and creepy skin and all this, oh. Do you really think at a core level that's going to keep a man with you? Or are you doing this because this is just something you want to do? I don't think invasive surgery is your answer. But self-love will go a long way to helping you get through this. I know how it feels. As an older woman, you look at all these pretty, oh my gosh, these young girls today, they laid out, they got everything. They got everything. Stuff we didn't even have. We still don't. But they booming and booming and booming. And I'm like, but that's fine. Because what they don't have is what they're going to need, and they can't get that until they go through life, and that's wisdom. They don't know how to judge character. They haven't put enough time in. They don't understand that your breasts after children are not going to look the same, or that your body will change. And unless you got a good plastic surgeon, that it's not going to happen. They don't know that yet. So when you look at them, don't be jealous. Don't be concerned. Be glad you already know these things. So you don't have to waste your time on what I call dead energy and dead weight. You know, they're at the bar, they're in church, they're wherever, fluttering around, looking for something, preferably a male, to fill a void that they think they have. They haven't reached the point of maturity to know that the only void you haven't filled is learning to love yourself. And that based on your own self-love, you can move into other things and interface with people from a position of balance and not desperation. So what happens, you go through life, and now you're at the proverbial age of 65 and out here and, quote, retired if you can't afford to. Wouldn't do it if you can't. That's disaster. But you're out here, and you're trying to figure out, what can I do to be relevant? Well, there's so much out here today that you can do to be relevant and get paid. Okay, because I have an issue with people doing volunteer work and they don't have enough money to live on. I'm like, no. This is not a church. You're not doing volunteer work and not get paid. The pastor gets paid. Okay, so don't sing that song to me. Let's look at how you can begin to capitalize on the things that you love and want to do. And they'll take a little bit of time, research, but thanks to Google, you'll find it. You'll find venues, alternatives, access. And then lo and behold, things will shift for you. However, if you have made up in your mind, this thing here in your brain, that when I retire, that's it for me. I'm going to live the life. Well, what have you been doing for the last 65 years that has you circling around the life? That's like Cinderella again. That's a fairy tale. The life you live is right now. The best life you live is right now. The only life you live is right now. Everything else has either been there, done that, gone, or I'm planning on it future. But the most powerful expression you can have of who you are is to live your life boldly, honestly, with complete transparency, loving yourself first and loving everyone else that comes along. Speaking of which, and that's another show, why don't you want to love yourself? I'm not talking about selfish. Selfish is a sickness caused from a person who has lack. But when you have self-love, which is, you know what, God made me wonderfully. He just outdid himself. I am so excited about what I can be doing, what I'm going to do, what I am doing. Even for me right now, being in this studio is exciting to me. Can you believe that? Because I'm doing what gives me great pleasure. I got a great team of people. The show broadcasts, I get good positive feedback, and it leaves me edified and blessed. So I'm good. I'm cool, as the kids say. Boom. I'm all that. Why? Because I understand that it only matters right now, today. So in saying that, order your steps, make a choice, make sure everything's in place. If you're making less money, it means you must spend less money. And I frankly believe you should spend no money because you've accumulated enough over your lifetime. You don't need to buy more clothes, more shoes, more anything. You need to be about letting go of things, moving things on, and holding on to those precious things that you want for heirlooms. I say this because I'm a pearl freak. I love real pearls. I'm not talking about that crazy stuff. I actually do pearls. And those pearls will pass on to my daughters. I don't do diamonds because that's just not my cup of tea. That's hype. De Beers in South Africa took a rock that you use to grind things and made it into something that's over the top. But pearls come from a seashell, a mollusk. And there's only one pearl per 11,000 of them. And when you find a pearl, it's awesome because it creates its own light source. Did you know that? I'm getting off topic. Well, single ladies, singlehood, good success to you as we are in 2019. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity and the wonderful privilege of sharing with you my thoughts on what you need to get through. This age is just a number, unless you say otherwise. And in the meantime, remember, the only thing that counts is today. The only thing that counts is that you do good and powerful, starting with yourself today. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Michelle Graves, known as the Money Lady. Thank you for your time, and God bless you. Take care.